Hey there, welcome. So today we're going to talk about something that's so easy to mess up, but so critical for success. And that's finishing a project the right way. We're diving into the whole world of proper project closure. Okay, picture this. The big delivery is done, the team is packing up, you're ready for the high fives, right? But is it really over? I mean, if you've ever been stuck in that post-project nightmare of loose ends, chasing down unpaid invoices, a team that doesn't know what's next, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Done doesn't always mean finished. So, how do you avoid that total mess? How do you actually land the plane instead of, crashing it at the last second? Well, it all boils down to having a real, formal process. So let's start right at the beginning. What even is project closure? Think of it as the final official phase of your project. This is the part where you get that formal sign-off, where the client actually accepts everything. It's where you look back and see how you did against your original plan, and you tie up every single loose end. And let me tell you, this is not just some boring paperwork you do at the end. No way. It's a super strategic, absolutely necessary final step. And here's something you might not know. There are actually two different kinds of closure. First, you've got contract closure. This is for closing out individual agreements with your vendors or suppliers. You might do this a bunch of times throughout a single project. But then you have administrative closure. That's the big one. That's the final, it's really over closure for the whole project. And here's the key. You absolutely have to get all those smaller contract closures done before you can do the final administrative one. Okay, so how do we actually pull this off? Let's get down to brass tacks. We've got a 7-step checklist for you, and seriously, think of it like a pilot's landing procedure for a jumbo jet. You wouldn't skip a step there, right? Same thing here. Every single item on this list is critical to bringing your project in for a safe and successful landing. All right, let's dive into the first 4. Step 1. Evaluate the project. Get the team in a room and really dig in. What worked? What was the disaster? Put it all in a lessons learned doc. Step 2 is all about paperwork. And this is a big one, folks. Get those final signatures from everyone, and for goodness sake, make sure every invoice is paid and every contract is closed. Step 3, release your resources. Officially free up your people, your equipment, whatever, so they can move on to the next thing. And step 4 is writing that big project closure report. But we'll come back to that one in a minute. Okay, moving on with our checklist. Step 5, hold a formal closeout meeting. This is where you plant the flag and say, we are officially done. Step 6 is a huge one, probably one of the most overlooked. Archive everything, all your documents. And finally, step 7, and please don't skip this one, celebrate. Seriously, taking a moment to acknowledge all the hard work is so important. It gives the team closure and gets everyone fired up for the next project. All right, so I said we'd circle back to step 6, archiving. And I want to pause here because honestly, out of everything on that list, this might be the one that saves your bacon down the road. Let's really dig into why creating this infallible memory for your project isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Teams change, but documents don't. Think about it. People come and go, memories fade, details get fuzzy, but that official project file, that paper trail, if you do it right, it's permanent. It is the only thing that tells the true story of what happened years from now. And this is why it matters so much. It's not just about being tidy. This stuff is your legal shield. If a dispute pops up years later, having these records can save you a fortune. It's also your crystal ball for future projects, right? You can look back at the data and plan better next time. It's how you pass on knowledge so the new person on the team can see why you made a certain call. And it's all about managing liability. Because let's be real. Things like warranties can last for years after you think the project is done. So, all of this work, all 7 steps, it all leads up to one single, super important document. This is the thing that becomes that infallible memory we were talking about. Let's get into the final sign-off, the project closure report. So what's actually in this thing? Well, it's pretty straightforward. You've got a section that confirms whether you actually hit your goals. You've got the financial summary, budget versus what you really spent. Of course, you have to include that lessons learned section, what to do again and what to never, ever do again. And finally, you capture all the feedback from your clients and stakeholders. This report, right here, becomes the official story of your project. Okay, let's be honest. Creating that report, chasing down signatures, trying to archive everything we just talked about, it can feel like a total nightmare, especially if you're trying to piece it all together from a million different spreadsheets, random email chains, and a chaotic WhatsApp group. I mean, come on. There has to be a better way to build, right? And there is. That's where modern tools are just complete game changers. If you are sick and tired of that administrative headache, especially on a busy construction site trying to manage everything with spreadsheets and WhatsApp, it is time to digitize your workflow. This is exactly what platforms like Lementai are built for. They bring everything, all your project management from the very beginning to that final sign-off, into one single organized place.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into project closure. This explainer was brought to you by Lementai. So if you're ready to start building better and, more importantly, finishing stronger, go check them out. You can start for free today. Thanks for tuning in.